Hi Pisces, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. My name is Veroosh and this is your North Node video in Gemini. I did one big video to explain to everyone what the North Node in Gemini is for all of us together, and then I'm doing separate videos for each of you to kind of explain that for each sign. So go and check that out. It's at the end of the video. It's a click through. So if you're not sure about what the North Node is, then you want to go check that out. Okay, so next I want to talk to you guys about North Node in Gemini and South Node in Sagittarius and how it pertains to your chart. After that, we'll do tarot, and then I will tell you what personality aspects are emerging in your life in the next year and a half. The North Node moved into Gemini on May 5th and will stay there until January 2022. And then the mean node, which is another calculation of the North Node, will move into Gemini on June 4th. So that time period, this time period that we're talking about now, is really the window between the two nodes shifting. So we're in a transition point at this time. This video is going to tell you guys about where to focus and what this North Node is bringing into your life. The North Node in Gemini in your 4th house is manifesting for you a desire to really focus on home, focus on family, focus on surroundings. You're going to get very kind of thinking about the nature of your relationships, the serenity within your relationships, how important they are. You will be very focused on, just building house and home around you and making it very, very comfortable. On the other side of things, the South Node has moved into your 10th house. So in some way, you're going to be feeling somewhat ambivalent or even releasing attachments to the outside world, such as not really that focused on how your social contacts are going, not that focused on networking. Maybe social media was really important to you before, now you're just not that enthusiastic about it. I think it's like kind of a really big reorientation for you guys to focus on the home, focus on the family, focus on how your relationships are. If there's stuff that has to do with like your childhood or your early childhood development, then you will be really focusing on getting right in those areas of your life. You'll want to set down roots during this time, build a home, start a family for some of you guys, get pets. I know a few Pisces who have gotten pets already for the first time. It's kind of like, leave me alone and let me focus on the people that matter most to me. That's what this transit is really doing for you. And in terms of like any anxiety with regard to the outside world, keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with others, you were sort of disinterested or pulling away from that. And especially those of you who were somehow very invested in your social life, in your social circumstances, you're pulling away from that. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter, how many likes you're getting. It doesn't matter how much approval you have. You're not worried about like finding out, whatever you need to do about your social position. Work, you may struggle during this time in work, especially when it comes to making your boss happy. If you you may actually not care that much, and that can translate into some challenges with regard to your work. I think you'll be fine, just provided you keep motivated, because you will not be that driven towards, you will not be as driven as you have been in the past towards making a statement at work or trying to like lay down some circumstances at work. Like, you will not be so driven to fight for your position in your career. You will be very drawn to like just letting go and being with the people that you care about. So why don't we talk about a little to do with this transit here. I'm going to talk about 3 transits over the next year and a half and how they pertain to you, what their meaning is, and what the importance or significance is of them for your life. So in order to understand this transit, which is May 2020, which is right now, let's take a look at how this chart will look for us for the majority of the year and a half North Node in Gemini transit. For the majority of the year, the North Node will be by itself. So we will want to achieve certain things, like maybe buy a home, but there won't be as much supportive energy in the form of planets and other transits that will in some way facilitate energy to get us to where we want to go. So the North Node in Gemini in your 4th house, for the most part this year, you may feel like you have big ambitions for family relationships. I sense that there's a lot of like making up and improving relationships with family members, working really hard on improving family relationships with family members. So you may have the desire to do so, but there may be not enough energy to conduit through to that to make that happen. So unless you have transits in Gemini, or unless you have friends or people around you who have transits in Gemini, it may feel like a stretch to actually achieve those goals or your desires, fulfill your desires. However, in the time period of May 2020 to August 2020, you are going to have the inner planets transit alongside the North Node. The same thing is going to happen in 2021 when the Sun, Mercury, and Venus create a conjunction with the North Node. So it happens this year and it happens next year. And this is an annual transit, so essentially the same thing that happened through the last year and a half of North Node in Cancer is happening now. So basically what's going to happen during that time is that you're going to have enough energy to actually achieve those things. You'll see a big push forward in your life to buy that home, improve your relationship with your family members, just make things happen around the home. Things are going to be flowering, things are going to be blossoming. So you want to use that time for growth and to get what you want and to achieve fulfillment of your desire. Your fulfillment of the desire this year has to do with home, family issues, things around the home, things to do with your kids, things to do with your husband, your wife, your partner, whatever, or even find people to fit that. That's going to be a priority, home and family life. So in the autumn, we're going to go through a pretty intense 3 months, especially October, November, and December. So I'm going to tell you some stuff that's hard to hear, but I think that it's important for us to know, because these great transits in the spring should be used to prepare us so that when the transits in the fall happen, we are somewhat prepared and we're not caught unprepared. So basically, my advice is to use these spring transits this year, May, June, July, August, to prepare yourself and take care of all the things that you need to take care of in your home and family life, so that when this transit happens in the fall, and I'll explain it to you guys in a moment, you will have all the things that you needed to take care of done. What's going on is that Lilith is creating a conjunction with Uranus in Taurus. That's going to create a lot of miscommunication for you. And so you should really be careful with how you communicate through October, November, December. And a lot of the things that you can solve through healthy communication, Lilith in Taurus will create a blockage to you for, so you will have a hard time in some way clarifying issues, finding solutions, talking things through with people. So you might find yourself in circumstances where it would have really helped to be able to talk to someone about it, but because of certain dynamics that are affected by Lilith, she's going to in some way incite a difficult moment of communication. It won't last forever. However, the problem is that after Mars goes retrograde in September and goes direct and then ends up creating a conjunction with Uranus later on in the year, all of these transits in October, November, and December will sequentially create a semi-square to the North Node. So as we're focusing on the North Node and trying to achieve our goals of home, family, togetherness, there will be communication issues that get in your way in a fundamental way. Now, in terms of your transits vis-a-vis other people's transits, I feel like for you it's less bad, because provided you don't try to force communication with family members, I think that you'll be able to work things out. I would say that through that time, October, November, December, I would not try to work out special deals to buy a home. Anything to do with paperwork, I would be very, very cautious through that time. There's a real high chance for miscommunication, so you don't want to sort of get yourself stuck in a corner by pushing through with an energy that just will not want to give during that time. For your sign, I would say most likely this will be an issue of miscommunications that you will not be able to resolve so easily as you wish, okay? And Mars in the 3rd house can, if you do have a propensity to be a chatty Pisces, then Mars in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, may make you say things that will incite even a worse outcome. So, keeping your mouth shut is your friend during this time. We are going to have eclipses. So there's going to be a full moon eclipse in November in this area of your chart. And that means that will in some way shut out, some things in the past that may be stopping your progress to move forward. So suddenly with the full moon eclipse in November, early December, November 30th, 29th November, this year in Gemini, I feel as though for you, maybe some things to do with your home, to do with your family, may be removed or may otherwise be adjusted so that you can push forward in that direction more. The eclipse that's actually better this year is the one in Sagittarius on November, sorry about the autofocus, the one in December, on the 14th. That one, let me just get this proper, okay? So the one that I would say pay attention to is the one on the 14th, which may actually bring into your life an opportunity that will coincide with your new social realities that you will be needing in the future time. So as you're making this adjustment with the nodes, this new moon eclipse on the 14th will in some way set the ground rules or the beginning steps of a social life that will be more in alignment to where your north node is going. So it's a fine-tuned alignment, and so that's going to be the first spring of hope for you in December 14th, where you'll start to really see where things are going. You're going to release stuff with that full moon eclipse, and then something will start to begin. There's another eclipse on December 4th, 2021, so next year. That's going to do another stage forward towards working on your public life to coincide in a more harmonious way to what your home and family life is becoming. So, you may, like, let's say you're having a child, maybe you'll find a job that will be helpful to that in some way, to work better with, being a mom or a dad. And so then the new moon eclipse on the 14th can bring in an opportunity that will help you manage that better. So the more that you flow into this transit, the better it will be. The more that you allow these astrological effects on us, on you, the more harmonious the transition will be. If you fight it or if you try to strong arm it, what you may find is that you put yourself in a position in which certain adjustments don't happen, and then you will have to spend years to adjust to what could have adjusted very quickly with these eclipses. The other thing to pay attention to is this area right here, which is your 11th house in Capricorn. This is the last time Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter will be in Capricorn for a very long time. This is your 11th house, and so this is going to in some way put closure to experiences that you had in January, February, or March. So whatever emerged for you at the beginning of the year will in some way close out at the end of the year this year. So that's important to know as well. Then finally, the last transit I want to bring to your attention is here, which is Lilith conjunct the Gemini North Node transit. This happens July 25th or so, 2021. And right after Ceres, a protective minor planet will enter into Gemini and stay with the North Node until the end of its transit in January 2022. What's going to happen with this transit is that This line is called the IC. It has something to do with early childhood development, early experiences as a child. I suspect that something problematic will enter into your life through that time, and it can feel very, very, it can feel very like intimidating, because the experiences that we have early on in our life can oftentimes, be some of the biggest fears or the biggest points of intimidation that we have in our life. So as Lilith crosses this axis, this IC line, and creates a north node, you might start feeling between July 25th and August 5th that wherever it is you're going, or whatever you are trying to achieve, is outside of your reach. However, Ceres, a mother-like figure, enters into this area almost immediately on like early August, and when she does so, then you will feel much more protection. There's someone who's going to step in and help you with these feelings. Remember, Lilith will be some kind of person or situation that may emerge in your life that will mirror some difficult things, and many of us have them from early childhood to scare us with. Maybe your parents had a divorce when you were a child, and then suddenly there's an event that comes through that sort of mirrors those apprehensions that you have buried deep in your heart. And so suddenly you're feeling like maybe that's what something that's going to happen to you. And so you may spend 10 days, sorry about that, you may spend several days feeling as though, it's going to, you may feel as though you may spend several days feeling as though that bike really disrupted me. Sorry, my train of thought. I'm actually afraid of motorcycles. I don't like them, but anyway. So this north node with the Lilith transit, it may feel as though we can't get do you see the fear? It could be actually it's so funny because I'm channeling and I'm trying to explain it, but it's actually a similar feeling. Like you can get caught very much in your tracks of what you were doing for a short period of time, and you may feel very discouraged and like deer in the headlights kind of feeling, but then Ceres will come in and very much protect you till the end of this transit. So it'll be a very short transit, it'll be a strong punch in the gut, but then when Ceres enters into Gemini, you'll have some energy come in and help you feel protected. So you definitely won't be alone. There will be a small moment in which you doubt circumstances, but then things will work out. So now let's take a look at your tarot cards. I'm going to see what the South Node energy is with this first deck. Then I'm going to see what the North Node energy is for with the second deck. And then we're going to take a look at your personality emerging. Okay, so let's see. First message is the Six of Swords. Yeah, I think you're definitely leaving behind a workplace situation. A type of work you do, your specific job, friends that are associated with your job. I have a feeling that it starts as apathy or feeling not that motivated towards the people that you're around. You kind of feel like things are ending, like a shift is happening, and there's other things that you start becoming interested in, okay? And those of you guys who have North Node in Pisces, you are in some way now on it's almost like the sunrise of your North Node alignment. So over the next 5 years, the node will start aligning with Pisces, and so you will start seeing this fruition of everything that is being cultivated right now. So the energy that we're working now has a lot to do with almost like planting the seeds or beginning of the way forward. But then in 5 years, as the alignment happens for you guys, you will see the culmination of that. And whatever you begin now or start beginning now, all these shifts and changes that are happening have to do with this new cycle that's beginning. So that includes letting go of old places of work, old social contacts, all those things. You have the Two of Cups, spiritual union. I have a feeling that many Pisces are going to be moving towards relationships partnerships and families. And that's why over the next year and a half, many of you are going, the North Node is in the 4th house, so many of you are going to sort of focus less on career and focus more on home. And that's going to be kind of guided by your relationship with your partner. Your partner is going to be kind of like the beckoning, the lighthouse for you to which you come to or reconnect with. Then we have the truth, which is the last judgment, a big decision that you may make in the next year and a half. I have a feeling that your relationship with your partner or your future partner will in some way be the guiding marker of you making this decision. So stepping away from something to do with the public life and moving closer together with your partner or the person you love. If there's no one who you love, then it's closer to your home. So just be closer to yourself. Like I said, for some of you guys, that's getting a pet or something else. For some of you, it's children. But most likely, I'm feeling it has to do with love. Like the love you share with another human being is guiding you home or bringing you to make decisions that take you away from the public sphere and move you towards the home. And that's going to feel really good. I think that watching your readings for the last, several years, but definitely last 2 years, I've noticed this strength that has emerged for you in your public life. Like you've been able to manage those circumstances and situations, but I also sensed for many Pisces that you were not that enthusiastic about going there. You were not that enthusiastic about dealing with those things. It was something that you could do, but it's not something that you wanted to do. And now you have a purpose, love, and family to which you gladly, it feels like the right thing for you. It feels like that's what I want to invest my time in. So you are in some way redirecting yourself, not because you can't function in that other sphere, but because the home sphere, the love and family sphere feels so right. Here is the next message. We have the Emperor card, authority. So I really feel as though you're changing your priorities over the next year and a half. And I feel as though it's moving from, like I said, the public sphere into the private one. And very likely it's connected to the love that you share with someone else. Or, you know, your partner is validating those feelings. So they're validating those feelings by saying, yeah, like I want you home, I want you around more, I want to be with you. Those kinds of things are guiding you to the direction you're going. And then we have the rest and rejuvenate, the 4 of Swords. I think that probably, I feel as though that it's very likely that your public life has taken a toll on you, because it's like, you can do it. I definitely know that you can manage, and I believe that Pisces is like, you are the like when they say like what is the most powerful sign, I think it's Pisces. But I feel like it's almost like it's like you're the president and you're answering questions at such detail that don't concern you. You know, you're answering like, it's like, I don't know. It's like asking God, where's the keys to my car? Like, I know God can take care of that, but it's like a minute detail. And I feel like your focus and attention is on such bigger energies that these like incidental things that you've been managing with other people have taken a toll on you. And and now you're recognizing, and it's not from a place of failure. So it's not like your job's going to go under or something like that. If it comes from a place of success, you've been successful and now you're making decisions, and you're recognizing in that success that yes, you've persevered, but you're sort of swimming against the current of what's good for you. You're swimming against the current of, you know, putting yourself out there. You know, it's stuff you don't really want to do. You're doing things you don't want to do. You're answering questions you didn't want to answer. You're not being yourself. And I feel like that's making you mentally tired. I feel like that's making you not want to be there. And I think that that's going to be really the motivation of letting go. So it's not going to be like something doesn't work out. It's going to be like, I have better things to do at home. That's going to be literally the good message. Here is the next message. You have the Seven of Swords, deception and envy. I do feel as though I do feel as though there's a possibility that people around you may not understand what you're doing and the decisions you're making. Be very, very cautious of asking other people for their opinion, especially if they are from your 10th house. So if they're coworkers or people that you know, not socially, this is friendship, okay? This is your public life. So don't ask people that you know in a public place about yourself as you're making decisions. Invariably, they are going to sabotage you, even if they are good-willing, because there will be a level of envy, jealousy. They won't understand what you're doing. They're not going to, even if they have the best intentions, they won't understand where you're coming from. So that's the Piscean problem too, because when you're asking problems of other people, if you're asking for help from other people in terms of their opinion, giving you their opinion, it's actually very hard for Pisces, because people don't see things the same way as you do. They don't have the same values as a Pisces, so they really have a difficult time to give you a proper advice or opinion, because the way that you think is very unique and it's very different than everyone else, especially if your moon is in Pisces. That's the fastest way to make yourself unhappy if you're a Pisces moon, asking people what their opinion is. They just won't get it. It's like asking someone who just likes lipstick the meaning of life, like that's you. And that's a weird analogy, but it's the things, the principles and the values that you carry in your heart have no resonance for other people. And that can be true for anyone, but especially for you, as you're making big life changes, they just might not get what's going on with you, and you need to know that. You may feel, here, 8 of Swords, trapped in fear. You may feel as though, I feel like you're going to go up against being, there's the same way that there's no transits next to the North Node, there's few transits to do with the South Node. And what's going to happen is, as you branch out, as you let go of these old circumstances, as you decide, yes, this is the path of love, this is the path that I want to take in life, you're going to start feeling like you're out on a limb a little bit. And it's because you're going against the grain, you're going against the main way of what everyone else does. You're going to be faced with circumstances for a while in which you are answering questions for yourself that other people can't answer. Furthermore, it's not safe for you to ask them. It's not safe for you to consult them, because they're going to give you answers that are just not going to be sufficient for what you need, and you run the risk of hearing from their shadow, hearing from their envy, their jealousy, all those things, rather than their positive feelings, rather than, their goodwill. Okay, so now let's see the North Node in the 4th house. Let's see what's going on for you at home. So we have the 3 of Swords, sadness and isolation. You've been isolating yourself from your partner. You've been isolating yourself from your home. If you don't have a partner, you've been working too much, dealing with all the things we've been describing with the South Node. And I think that that's the heartbreak, when you realize you've been doing everything wrong. You've been doing everything, you've been doing nothing that you want. Even though you've been successful, you've not been doing the things you want. You have not been doing the things you want. The next message is challenging times, the 5 of Pentacles. So your biggest problem, stumbling block, is going to be the time period when you make this adjustment towards more of the home, in finding people who resonate, even within your family. So the cousin with who's the biggest business person in the world who you really resonated with when you were outside in the world, that person doesn't resonate for you anymore. So it's not that you won't be cousins, it's not that you won't like each other, but what's going to happen is you're going to go through a period of adjustment to find someone else in your family with whom you can really identify. So it's that alongside with the external shift, there's going to be also a social shift in which you're going to be waiting for those friendships to develop in the new direction you're going. You're literally making a 180-degree turn in your life, I think. Here is your next message. Four of Wands. Okay, so this is the Five of Wands, but the same kind of feeling. Joy and stability. Your home is going... So no matter how frustrating this situation may be, your home is going to be very much the place that's going to have meaning, continual love. There's going to be, like, when you have the most frustrating day because you're trying to make everything happen and it's hard to make it happen, you're going to go back into the home and it's going to feel just so much confirmation for what you want. Then we have the Seven of Wands, choose your battles. I think that you're going to be somewhat vulnerable. I think it's a good strategy for Pisces at this time to keep their opinions to themselves within reason. I mean, if you feel like you need to say something, then say it. If you need to say something, then say it. If you really have something on your mind that you need to confront, then do it. But I have a feeling that your main thing will be to quietly move towards this closer home dynamic. The proof is in the pudding, which means that, like, rather than with words, win with examples. So, like, once you achieve whatever it is that you were wanting to achieve, then you will have your pudding, you will have your outcome. So it's not so much about discussing things, but much more about doing the work. I think that the proof is in the pudding etymology has to do with, like, it's a British saying from England, and it's from, like, the 50s. And what it means is that you would have to eat your meal so that you could have the pudding. So you had to put in the work to have the pudding. And the proof was in the pudding by, having eaten the meal that you didn't want to eat, the healthy meal, and then get your reward. And I feel like and you're good at that. That's your strength. So your strength isn't in, like, trying to convince other people. Pisces' strength is not in convincing other people of anything, because you guys oftentimes self-sabotage if you're trying to convince other people of, like, if you're trying to convince other people of, let's say, like, your point of view, or if you're trying to convince other people of doing something right, you see both sides of the coin. So that's not very good at convincing other people. Like, you could do it this way, but you could do it that way. That's a Piscean way of thinking and talking, which is really hard when you have to be more black and white to be more convincing. And so Pisces are definitely not that. You guys are the sea of gray, right? And you see multiple polarities. It's a very interesting thing. And so while you do that, it's not going to be that effective for you to try to convince everyone to come on board. You need to do what you're going to do, and then everybody will see the outcome, and then who's going to come is going to come, who stays behind is going to stay behind. The next message is the heart chakra. So yeah, you have a ping to your heart over something, you miss an opportunity in the home, like you're working while your sister has a baby, or there's just some kind of a wake-up call that's going to happen for you that makes you really aware that home life, that family life is most important. Then let's see the next message. The darkest fear is the Nine of Swords. I do think you're going to be working through a lot of nervousness because you are going to be shifting your life. You're going to be shifting, like, where you operate, how you do things, where your focus is, and you're going to have to deal with people around you to accept that. You're going to have to find, other points of support. You're going to have to find your identity and all that. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of like worry, but you have to like hunker down and stick to it. The main points, remember when I was telling you about the astrology, and I'm telling every sign about that, for you, the two time frames in which you're probably the most vulnerable to doubt and cause self-sabotage is July 25th through August 5th, 2021, and then this year in October through November 2021, when there could be a situation that evolves in which there's choice words said, and if too many things are said, then whatever consequence comes of that situation can be more difficult to resolve than if it wasn't that transit and you just talk things out. So be very choice with your words. I think that's the strong message. Even though your intentions are good, things can come across the wrong way. Share the love, which is the Three of Cups and reunion. Listen, I'll tell you guys straight what I'm getting. If there is a bit of a breakup between you and your partner, like even if someone moves out, I have a feeling that they're going to come right back in, and there is going to be a reunion with that. If it's like an emotional distance that happens, then I feel like that is going to get reconciled. And so be patient. And again, more doing, less talking. It's not that you can't talk, it's that the astrology and the general energy to me really signifies that with talking there will be the chance of greater miscommunication, and you don't need it. You can just show the world what you're about. Oh, my favorite card, and it's so Piscean. I bet she's a Pisces. Look at this little amethyst. Okay. Oh, I have the autofocus off. Okay, one of my favorite cards, the High Priestess. Listen. So basically you do and you listen, and you just radiate that energy to see the outcome. It's a form of manifestation. It's a form of magic to quietly initiate or instantiate whatever it is that you want to see happen. I think that basically you're putting your territory down. You're putting your flag in the ground with what you want and how you want your life to be. And I feel like you are going to, it's almost like playing poker and bluffing. Not saying that you're bluffing, but at some points you're going to have to fake it till you make it. And then you're going to put your territory down in who you are now and what's important. And then you're going to have to, as a leader, you're going to have to get all the followers to kind of come your way. You have to be confident in this. This is going to be through acts of confidence that you're going to succeed. And it's, and whoever it is that I see around you, there's a very sincere love and a relationship between you and this person. And those of you who are single, you are going to some of you are going to meet that partner, but if you're in a situation in which you can't be in a relationship or something else is going on, there's going to be something of value that is heartfelt, love-based, that emerges in your life, your relationship, a platonic relationship with a family member, a community group that you get really committed to and that you do a lot of good for. There's going to be some really rooting energy through love, through compassion and love that you are going to connect with, that's going to make your place unshakable, unmovable. So you're going to find your place in all this, okay? So here's the personality types that are emerging over the next year and a half. So we have the adventure spirit, and this comes from you kind of going somewhere else, breaking the mold, taking a risk, and in some way, like I said, there's going to be an event that comes through that's going to like prick your heart. It's going to in some way make you feel unwell about the way things are, and that's going to wake you up. And through that wake up, you are going to in some way know that which direction you want to go. Let's see the next message. We have the flirt, okay? So I do see as though that there's a really warm connection between you and someone else. You will have moments in which you're like, whoa, where am I going with this? But I think that there will be a substantial amount of romance, a substantial amount of like good spiritedness between yourself and someone else. Now let's see the next card. We have the pleasure seeker. Ooh, okay. So, okay, the pleasure seeker. I have a feeling that that through feeling good, like Like I said, less talking, more doing. Less talking about feelings, more doing the feelings and feeling the feelings. So it's like you go in the direction where the feelings are good, and that will fuel, that will be the direction you need to go. You will follow your feelings, follow your pleasure, follow your desire, and when it feels good where you're at, that's going to be the place you need to be. And that doesn't mean just happy. It's going to feel whatever feeling is you have to identify what feeling makes you feel the best, right? Whether it's you feel like you're surrounded by truth, you feel like you're surrounded by whatever. And so you go in that direction, and when you reach that goal, when you reach that direction, then it'll all make sense. It'll make sense and it'll guide you home. Okay, so next message, we have the vulnerable child. Okay, so again, it's like I'm picking up something and in which you're trying to help someone who is like helpless or hurt, and you wish to explain to them, you know, how they can solve their issue. But I feel like you need to lead by example again and radiate the truth out, and all the vulnerable children around you will, and who are adults or children or whomever, you know, they will understand vicariously through your example, and they will come to you. You will become their mother or their father. You will become that point. So in essence, you are kind of like saying, it's like being in a big room. I'll show you guys this. It's like being in a big room surrounded by people, but the room is owned by some other party. It's owned by some organization. They set the rules, and you suddenly realize that it's a place where there's not that much heartfelt connectedness between people. And so finally you're like, no, I can't be here. Remember, Pisces is the leader, and you recognize you can't be there. You don't want it. You got to go. And so you redirect your energy and you move towards your home. You set up your home, your place, right? You set up this is who I am. This is what I value. And if you want, come over. And I think that over the next year and a half, this will be the direction of your life. You will sort of say, I'm not going to put in any more time to be in this place that makes me unhappy. And I have a sneaky feeling that it makes other people unhappy too. So I'm going to set up my home in this place with these rules that are much healthier. And I'll wait for everybody to come join the party, because it's a much better party than where I'm at, you know? So you're essentially starting your own tribe. You're essentially setting out on some trajectory. Remember what I said at the beginning. I know it's been a long video, but remember what I said, that this cycle, whether you're a North Node Pisces or anyone who has significant Pisces transits, this is all about the dawning of this new 5-year cycle for you. So I hope you enjoy this. If you guys are interested, I did a full moon reading in Scorpio on Tarot Talk, and it's over here in the playlist. If you're watching after May, then there's other videos in that playlist ready to go, but it was on Tarot Talk, so I hope you subscribe to that channel as well. And if you're wondering if you want more information about North Node, then click right here, and I did a dedicated video for that. Thank you guys, Pisces. I always love doing your readings the most, and yeah, I just can't wait to meet my Pisces. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.